Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit or Zappy here, back again with Kuroko no Basket Season 1. We are on episode 22.5, that is right. So, what I've been told is that it is an episode that is dedicated around Kise for obviously the upcoming match that is between Kise and Aomine, or Kaijo and Toho, whichever. The match is obviously between them, but obviously the interesting part is the fact that it's Kise versus Aomine. And I assume that this episode is just to sort of just get us invested for that. So yeah, I'm excited to see that, especially because with it being Kise, it would be nice if there was other .5 episodes in the future surrounding the other Toho members, not Toho, Teiko, sorry, my bad. The Generation of Miracles. Whether that is the case or not, I don't know. But, for Kise, I'm excited for this episode generally because I think all round he's, a character that I do actually like. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Other than that, obviously last episode we got some sort of confirmation of where Serene is heading in terms of, obviously we've done the practice episodes and everything, the training camp and whatever. But in terms of obviously Kagami and Kuroko, we know where they're sort of headed and what they're, pushing towards. So Kagami's obviously, it's all about his sort of jumping power and establishing that obviously and working on that. But also the fact of using his left hand and practicing with that because his ball handling in his left hand isn't anywhere near as good as his right. And then as for Kuroko, he's going to try using his misdirection paired with actually driving, so actually keeping a hold of the ball, which whenever that comes into play, it's going to be interesting to see how he pulls it off, because the idea of obviously using misdirection is the fact that you're taking the spotlight off of you, but if you have the ball, everyone's going to be on you, so it's going to be interesting to see how he does it. It may just be a case of a drive, as in he's using it as a way to sort of throw people off because people aren't expecting him to actually drive, but I don't know, who knows. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got. So yeah, we're going to get in episode 22.5 as well, because obviously people were asking I was always going to do this episode, but people were asking what I was going to how many episodes was actually going to react to this week. And I thought about it, and it seems like it's going to be easier just to do 22.5 and episode 23 today, and then next week is 24 and 25, because I think 25 is the finale, so it sort of just works well within the schedule of doing 2 episodes every week, you know what I mean? It means that I end with the finale next week, so it just kind of works out that way. So I think that's what we're going to do. But yeah, nothing else to really talk about, so if you do want to go watch the actual reaction, link is in the description below. There's also a link to the full length there. If you do want to watch that, then feel free. Yeah, that's all I've got. So yep, we're going to get in episode 22.5 and see what we get. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 22.5. Right, so yeah, that was a really nice episode. I like the idea of having an episode dedicated around all of the players' time at Teiko. And obviously this one was dedicated to when Kise turned up after modeling and everything, and he decided to join the basketball club, which it seemed like what he was doing was doing sort of other kind of, I don't know if it was clubs in particular. It may have just been like a PE class, like a physical education, for when he was playing football and stuff. But I mean, the general. It seems as though Kise is just generally good at everything that he does. So therefore, it wasn't a surprise that he got called up to the first string immediately. But it was when he started noticing, the just sheer ability of the other members that he started getting interested in. It was like he was trying to get a grasp of each person's sort of ability, and that Kuroko was the one that he was most intrigued by because of as you would imagine, Kuroko's is not in plain sight. So yeah, and it's good to see the other characters as well, the 2 other ones. So Murasaki Bara, I had to go back and literally look at what was said because his name is a long one, and that one's gonna be a tough one to get used to. But he's the one that sort of has the sort of tired personality. So yeah, I mean, when you're going through all of the Generation of Miracles, they all have this like, this personality that they sort of, they all have their different like sort of personalities. And his is just like the sort of tired and not really sort of wanting to go all out, I suppose. I mean, the thing is that, like, for instance, with Aomine, for example, his has kind of changed. And that is just due to, the fact of, like, Aomine reached a point where people were just not even bothering to play against him. And that just affected him in the way that he sees them. Because so now Aomine is kind of tired of it. And I don't know, like, the reason of Murasaki Bara's tired personality or what, but I think I was right. So some episodes ago, I was sort of theorizing what the other two's abilities would be, all their rules, everything like that. So I think I was right. Murasaki Bara seems to be the one that he's kind of like the defense, right? So it makes sense well with them being like just so tall. And Akashi seems to take the role of point guard, and the one that is like, it seems like not even just on the court, but off the court he is like the captain. Because it seems like they all go to him, and he's got this like air about him. When he was talking to Midorima, for example, like it's like he even says like, it's because I do know, kind of thing. Like it's like he sees things. And when they were like, I think it was, what was it? Was it the first time that we actually got to see Murasaki Bara and Akashi like actually play? Akashi was like, he was just looking, and like people were like looking at him, and then they like knew what to do. So it's like he sees. He's also got like that one eye, which in the opening it looks like he's got like, it's more like orange, and I guess it could be just like a visual thing as opposed to something that's actually there. But even like before, like when you actually saw his eyes, they were both the same color, but one of them, like, it's like the pupil was more dilated, or it was just a different visual style on one of his eyes, which is interesting. So I don't know if it's a case of like, with him being a point guard, it's something similar to what Izuki has, but with him being a Generation of Miracles, it's probably something like, even beyond like, anything. Like, you got the eagle eye that Izuki has, you have the hawk eye that Tako has, and then God knows whatever's this guy's got, But yeah, I mean, it seems to be like he just notices things, and it's not just a case of like him seeing stuff on the court, but off the court it seems so as well. Like he just has this air about him, like he's some kind of genius, and he's the one that actually discovered Kuroko's ability. So I wonder if Kuroko was even playing basketball or not before Akashi was like, bring him in. But then it would be a case of, if Akashi is the one that can just see things, right, like nothing gets past him, then it would be similar to kind of like Tako in a way, because Tako can see, he can see Kuroko clear as day. So with Akashi, that could be the exact same thing, except Akashi may like look at more than just seeing Kuroko, but what he's capable of, and that's probably the reason why he brought him in. So yeah, that's really cool to know. What else? Yeah, so Kise was actually assigned a mentor as well when he came in, which was Kuroko. And I like the fact that, like, I said it during the reaction, but I like how it's like, if you take into account everything that Kise says about Kuroko now, like, all those times where he's like talking to Kasamatsu and he's so like, he's so excited about Kuroko. He's like, no, you don't understand. Kuroko's amazing, kind of thing. Whereas, like, obviously back here, before he understood, he was just asking everyone, it's like, what's the deal? Why is he even here? Because it's like some kind of secret, you know what I mean? That's I just love the fact that, like, Kise's attitude towards it like just totally changed 180 in regards to Kuroko. So yeah, that's really cool. So yeah, of course he didn't understand Kuroko's ability at first, and he kind of had Kise had this like sort of like, I don't know, he had this sort of full of himself trait, I think, which was like kind of becoming a bit clear. It wasn't like over the top, like he wasn't telling everyone how bloody good he is, or you know. So it's not like he was full of himself in that regard. It was like, I guess it was more pure confidence, I suppose, right? More than being full of himself. But I feel like he was more like that back then, and obviously a lot of that could just be down to the fact that he was younger, you know, and whatnot. But it makes me wonder if Kuroko hadn't have been Kise's mentor, and if everything didn't happen like the way that it did. I feel like it's almost like Kuroko brought him back down, like, to earth in a way, you know. And if Kuroko hadn't have been there, I wonder if Kise would have become a bit more like, you know, of a dick, rather than, you know, being quite nice, like the way that he is, you know. So yeah, that's definitely interesting, you know. So yeah, really cool episode. Yeah, the other thing was the guy that was obviously snatched the woman's purse, and I just love the fact how even off the court, all of their roles were exactly the same in catching the guy. Right? You had both Aomine and Kise run after the guy, right? Aomine obviously getting there first. It's almost like, you know, to stop him. It's like Kise obviously not being like anywhere near Aomine's level yet. You know what I mean? But they both go after it. They're both more similar to each other than any other member of the team. You had Midorima, who used the box of I don't know, snacks. We'll just call them that. Basically, that was nuts. Oh, that was crazy. But I mean, considering how far that guy on the moped must have gotten before he actually, you know, shot it off. But yeah, of course, you know, doing the three pointer thing, and then after the guy like charged Kise to punch him, Murasaki Bara got in the middle and sort of like defended him in a way, you know. So it's like it all worked with their roles, which I just found just really funny, really intriguing as well. And I guess with Kuroko being the, I don't know, sort of the one that almost looks like he didn't do anything, you know what I mean? But in reality, you saw him duck down. He was clearly taking care of Momoi, right? So, you know, he still did something, even though how little it may have seemed. So yeah, it's like they all just used their rules to catch the purse snatcher in the end, which I really liked. So that was really cool. And I think it was trust as well. Like, I think with Aomine immediately running off after the guy, I think the trust must have known, like, you know, oh, you'll never catch him, right? But then it's like Midorima's sort of, like his just pure faith in, you know, you'll never get him. But he's like, again, it's like that thing that Midorima has against like people who dunk and everything like that. It's like 3-pointers are the ones, right? It's like he's telling them that clearly the better option is to just take him out from here. So he lobs it over to the guy and knocks him off his bike that way. But yeah, it's just really cool to see Teiko and like anything revolving the prodigies, like the Generation of Miracles, before the start of the show, kind of thing. And I think what's like kind of cool about this episode, with it being like a prequel in a way, is that you could have watched it at any point. I suppose you probably wouldn't have wanted to watch it before episode 1, you know what I mean, to get a grasp of Kuroko's sort of ability before, you know. But yeah, anyway, that's pretty much all I've got. So we're going to be getting into the match next episode, hopefully. I mean, I really want to fucking watch it, so it's going to be really, really cool. And yeah, so that's all I've got. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I've linked to certain things. One of them is the Discord, so you can get yourself over there if you wish. And I also have a Patreon page as well, so if you do want to support me on Patreon, that'd be very much appreciated. There is a bunch of different tiers and rewards there, like early access, $5 a month. It gives you access to shows a week early. For everyone that's watching this on YouTube, this episode's obviously gone public. Episode 23 will go public at the same time as well. So if you do want to get access to episode 24 and 25 right now, you can do by becoming an early access tier patron. And of course, all of the other reactions that I do, they come out a week early. There's also the full length tier there. So if you want to watch any of these in the full and not just the 10-minute cut version, then you can do with that tier there. And there's also the exclusive tier where you can watch my movie reactions and things like that. So when I start reacting to movies, you know, that's what that's for. So yeah, you can go have a look and see what they offer in closer detail. But yep, that's all I've got. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.